In my 30s, I started an incredible restaurant entertainment complex called Kahunaville. Thank you. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work. But one of the things I learned most was parking in Wilmington, Delaware was tough then and it's tough now. So as the owner, I wasn't totally skilled at entertainment or restaurants. I wasn't really perfect at running bars or restaurants or nightclubs. I understood parking. So I took on the parking aspect of Kahunaville. I worked in the streets. I found it to be an overwhelming task because luckily many of you came on a regular basis. Friday nights, Saturdays, it was overwhelming. So I felt I needed a little help. I was by myself doing this. I went to my operations team and I said, guys, I need some staff here. I can't do this alone. I know we're running this big, beautiful restaurant, but it's important that I get some people. So they went ahead and they found some guy. He was too short to be a doorman. We had big doormen then. And he was way too smart to let go. His name was Evan. Evan was a very creative young man, and he and I spent a tremendous amount of time in the street, on the golf cart, all over the area, parking cars. Not literally parking, but directing traffic. And we had a lot of downtime, and we talked a lot about life and what I saw as life. He was intrigued by me. I was frankly intrigued by him. And he always talked about brownies. I was like, I can't quite understand why this guy talked about brownies. We did it several times. And I said, Evan, what's with the brownies? I mean, do you like to eat brownies? What is it you like? He goes, yeah, I like to eat brownies, dude. I really like them a lot. He was a young guy. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, well, what's so special about these brownies? He looked at me and goes, they're pot brownies, dude. I'm like, oh, pot brownies. Wouldn't that be incredible if we served them at Kahunaville? We didn't. It was illegal. But wouldn't that be amazing if we got into the restaurant business and served marijuana-based products? Yes, it would be. I swear. I didn't touch that. They agreed. So, Evan and I laughed it off. We chatted about it, but nothing really came of it. So fast forward 20 years. I get a call from Evan. He's working for me in Vegas at my restaurant, the Kahunaville restaurant in Vegas. And he said to me, dude, it's time. I'm like, what do you mean it's time? He said, it's time to get in the marijuana business. I'm like, that was really a lot of fun talking about that, Evan, but that is not gonna happen. I mean, I'm a Tuttleman. I've got this big trust. My father died. My mother has got to be cared for, and it was my job to do that. I had a new family, a lovely wife. I had a real future. I couldn't get in the pot business. I mean, that's what I used to do in high school. Couldn't do it. It was not the place to be, and it was illegal, but it was becoming legal in Nevada. Wouldn't you know, the same time something else happened? My sister was diagnosed with glioblastoma stage 4 cancer. It was a very dark period in our lives. My brother and I stepped up. We would travel back and forth to San Diego. My family would go out with me, and we'd care for my sister with her family, with the nurses, with her husband. We'd go back and forth and do whatever we could to be a part of the solution to care for my sister. Many trips back and forth were arduous, and better with my brother. One day, we're about to leave on a trip. My brother says to me, dude, I can't go. I'm like, oh, no way, you can't go? What do you mean you can't go? You don't want me to do this by myself. I can't do this by myself. I need you, dude. I need you to be with me and Jan and be a part of it. He's like, look, I just can't do it. You're gonna have to go. And this was very late in her diagnosis. So my wife and I agreed. I stepped up, I got on the airplane, I flew to San Diego, I got there, I got a decent night's sleep. I got up very early in the morning, and I got in my little rental car, and I drove down to Jan's apartment that they had furnished for her to be in hospice. I walk in the apartment. There's no one there, but there's my sister. Her family had been there all night. Her husband had left, and he couldn't just be there that long, but the nurse was there. The nurse gestured over to my sister. I took a deep breath. And I knew with the sorrow in the air, the darkness, the feeling of her in hospice, dying. It was palpable. It was painful. To this day, I still feel it every time I think about that moment. I walked up to her bedside like there was nothing wrong. I sat down. She turned to me and said, "Hello." And we talked and we chatted. We reminisced about the skiing and about the sailing and about the parades we've been in. We sat there and really reflected in a way that we'd never done before. No one around us. It was only 7:30 in the morning. I'm not known for getting up early, but I was there early for her because I needed to show up. And we're talking about the trips to Vegas she used to make, and she says to me, "Whatever happened to your little employee, Evan?" I'm like, "Well, Evan still works for me. He's in Vegas." She goes, "Well, he also liked brownies like I do." My sister's dying in a hospice bed. I'm like, "Jen, okay, what's that got to do with it?" She goes, "Do you have any?" I'm like, "Do I have any what?" She goes, "Do you have any brownies?" I'm like, "Do I have any brownies?" She said, "You know, David, it's legal here in California. I've got some. I want some right now." I'm like, "You want some right now?" I'm like, "Absolutely." It's 7:20 in the morning. I mean, can't someone wait till noon to eat brownies? But she couldn't wait for anything. I went up to her house. I got her brownies that she had at her house. I came back down there. It's now 8:43. I gave her a brownie. And in 2 hours, she was laughing. She was lying there, but she was laughing. In 2 hours, she was like chatty. In 2 hours, she really believed that life was okay. We chatted. The kids came in around noon, 2 o'clock. Her husband was there. We all had a nice afternoon. She then turns to me again and says, "I'm hungry." Well, like, "You're hungry? That is awesome." She said, "I want lobster." I'm like, "Oh, lobster. I can do lobster. That I can do. I know where to get lobster. I can provide you lobster all day long." And I went out. And got in my car, and I went and bought 10 pounds of lobster. Like she was eating brownies at 8:50 in the morning, we started eating lobster at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we had a good time. She was alive. She was well. She felt good. And it was just this amazing experience. The transformation was bizarre to watch this woman in this condition of death come alive. I left the next day and found out that that was Jan's last meal she ever ate. It was the last time I've ever cooked her anything. It was the last lobsters, last solid food she ever ate. I came away thinking something is happening here. This really can't just be a fluke. I mean, this is amazing. This woman's last laugh. I turn out, as I look around, my niece, Elizabeth, this beautiful teenage girl, wakes up one day in a bathroom, startled, head hurts, disoriented, in pain. She's then diagnosed with epilepsy, grand mal seizures. My niece, my beautiful, vivacious niece, Elizabeth. She decides, well, she's not going to live with this. She's not going to take the medicines that have been prescribed to her. She shares these stories with us, and she, on her own, goes and finds medical marijuana. She's living out west. I think she's in California. She's in an area where it's legal. She sought a regimen. There's a piece of medical marijuana that's called a CBD. It's the non-psychoactive part of marijuana. It has proven, and it proved to Elizabeth that it would stop her seizures. She got life back into her. She found dignity. She found love. She found so much more on a simple CBD regimen. Sharing this with me, I couldn't believe it. I like, something's happening here. I meet recently this amazing father from Fishtown. He has a great story about his son, beautiful boy, Waldo. Waldo is born, and in 5 months, he contracts ocular blastoma. Waldo and his parents agreed he has to go into a cancer regimen immediately. So what what they do is they put him into the cancer regimen, but secretly they start feeding Waldo a CBD regimen. After the first 2 days of cancer treatment, Waldo is very ill, dehydrated. And what they do is they start secretly giving him this regimen. And in 2 hours, Waldo stops throwing up. In 2 hours, Waldo starts to get color back in his face. In 2 hours, and to this day, where Waldo is 2, he's doing great things on a CBD regimen. This can't be a problem. Marijuana is used as a medicine and is used well. You know, Pennsylvania has realized that parents see the need to put their kids on medical marijuana, and they've developed this safe haven law that's been enacted already in Pennsylvania. Waldo's parents don't have to break the law anymore. Waldo's parents can now get medical marijuana for their son, and parents of all over Pennsylvania can get medical marijuana for their son. It may not be good for you, it may not be good for you or your family, but it was good for me. And I understand so much more about medical marijuana through these experiences. So much so that I decided to take action. As Edgy said, I'm a very lucky guy. I went out and planted my flag, like I did at Kahunaville. I went out and I created my own energy, and I created a medical marijuana facility in Las Vegas called Matrix NV, where I took Evan and brought him into this company and did it with a group of amazing partners. And we today are a premier cultivation and production facility in Las Vegas. Thank you. But I found out something. There's not enough research. There's not enough going on. So as we decided to move forward in Pennsylvania, I started talking to Jefferson University. They've been around for a little while. Guess what? Jefferson's getting into the marijuana education and research business. And Pennsylvania has enacted another law that's going to help people do research in Pennsylvania. I'm going to be a part of that. But what I'm asking you to do today is get rid of the propaganda that you've been raised on for 30, 40 years. Just get rid of it, please. I'm just asking you to think about it. I'm just asking you to think about marijuana as a medicine. I'm not asking you to take it yourself or your family. I'm just asking you to think about it. Thank you.